Coming up on this week's episode of Flashtalk, Kent State baseball head coach Jeff Duncan talks about the team's recent success. Associate director of the Golden Flash Club, Kate Lewis, talks about the upcoming Golden Flash Bash. Kent State softball head coach Jessica O'Donnell talks about the upcoming 50th anniversary for Kent State softball. Legendary Kent State baseball pitching coach Mike Birkbeck talks about the team's pitching staff this year and some of his fond memories with Golden Flash baseball. All that and more coming up in a flash. Joined in our Flash Talk studios by Kent State baseball head coach Jeff Duncan. Coach, appreciate you joining me. And you just told me right before this that you feel like your offense is turning a corner, exploding in that series, winning 2 out of 3 at Bowling Green. Did you see this coming?
I did. I felt like we're super talented, 1 through 9. And if you look at our lineup 2 through 5, and then, even though the bottom half of our lineup with Ripken, Reese starting to really come on, MAC Player of the Week this week, and he's been in the 8 hole, and to see him get going, it just stretches our lineup to where it is a tough task for a pitching staff to navigate through.
Tell me a little bit about Ripken, because I know he struggled a little bit in the beginning of the year, and also Alejandro Covas, who has really started to turn up the heat at the plate coming over from Youngstown State.
Yeah, no, Ripken came in as one of the top prospects in the league coming in this season, and I felt like he played with pressure early on in the season, and I feel like he's kind of found his groove as a player, and he's just going out and attacking, basically, is what he's doing. He's, I guess, the word we use, I told him to be physical. Just play physical. Don't worry about it. Just breathe, get a pitch, be physical. And he's been outstanding, has had some great at-bats. He's been physical at the plate, and he's just he's letting it go. And he's a real force in the bottom of the order, and I'm happy for him because he does work hard. He's a really good kid. Mm-hmm. And I felt like we lost him there in that first month, didn't it? And then that's what pressure can do. But the cool thing about it is you see him getting out of that and becoming what he's very capable of doing. And then Alex Covas, or Alejandro Covas, is a kid that we saw out of high school, really, out from Walsh Jesuit High School here. I always thought he was a really good player, especially when we played Youngstown State. I really liked him last year. Coach Bertolini, who was the head coach at Youngstown, came over here. Yeah. And so he's he kind of came with him, really. Yeah. Alex Covas, a great player, can really run. I think he's really starting to buy into this Kent State baseball program of playing hard and all that, and he can really swing it.
How difficult is it when you're an opposing pitcher to look at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the middle of your order? You're talking about Yasic, Williams, Solitaria, Casey, whichever way you want to put it.
Especially Solitaria. I think he's up to like 30 RBIs and hitting the big 3-run homer yesterday, in a really tough situation. To see a freshman do that, and for him to protect guys like Hayden Yasic and Jake Casey, who have been so steady and so consistent all year long. I think that's what really makes our offense really, really go, is when you have, you got Hayden, who's a proven player of the year at Division II level last year. Yeah. And then you've got Jake Casey, who, has hit 10 plus home runs just about every year here. And I think he's on pace to do that. He could get up to 20, hopefully. I hope he hits 25, and he's capable of doing that. And he's swinging and miss. Jake's swinging and missing less and less, which has been great. I think he's going to be a draft. When you have Hayden and Jake protected by Sawyer and Brody, that's when it can be really, really special. And I can't forget the little nugget we have in Hunter Klotz, who just kind of grinds out at bats. Doesn't strike out, moves the baseball, has really tough at bats, and then he kind of flips the back end of our order, which is Covas. But I am excited to have Luke Matthews coming back too, and I want to make mention of that. So, and I think that'll make our lineup better. I think it'll make our defense better, and give us a little bit more flexibility on the defensive end, because we have not defended like we should and like we can, and that'll help out a pitching staff.
What are you looking for out of your pitching staff coming up in a big series at home against Toledo?
For sure, Gavin Jones, I think him and Jake Bean have given us our best starts on the weekends up to this point. We're looking for that third starter, so to speak. It was good to see Rocco Bernardina come in and follow up Eric Chalice. And Eric Chalice, I really believe in Eric Chalice. He's had a lot of wins in this conference and has had a good career. I do believe there's still strong innings ahead for him. But to see what Rocco did, he coming off an injury, had a tough start against Pitt, small zone at Pitt, and I think it kind of got to him. Wind blowing straight out, that type of deal. But his second outing was dominant against a Bowling Green offense that's been very good.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Schoonover Stadium against Toledo. That's Kent State baseball head coach Jeff Duncan. Coach, we appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me. Go Flashes.
When it comes to reaching your goals, having the right support can make all the difference. That's why we trust Green Lending, Kent State Athletics' exclusive mortgage partner, to help you achieve your home ownership dreams.
Just like on the court, everyone has a role to play. With the right teammates, any dream is possible. Green Lending is here to be that support to help you make those big moves in life.
Visit greenlending.com and let Green Lending help turn your dreams into reality.
Green Lending, helping Golden Flashes achieve their biggest dreams on and off the court.
The Army was my home, and I loved it. It gave me a lot of opportunity. Kent State has been probably the most friendly when it comes to veterans. So far, I'm 4.0 student. Most of it's been because of the help of the professors. Now that I'm older and I want to learn, I feel like I'm learning more, faster, and it's a lot more fun.
Here with Associate Director for Athletic Philanthropy Operations and the Golden Flash Club, Kate Lewis. Kate, appreciate you joining me. And I know the Golden Flash Bash is coming up. We got some nice drinks. We got some auction items. So just give us a nice overview of
Saturday, April 5th, right here in the Mac Center. We have an open bar. We have a strolling buffet. We have a bunch of fun games for you to take part in. And then we have our silent auction and live auction as well. We're live auctioning off 3 trips with our athletic teams, 1 for football, 1 for women's basketball, and 1 for men's basketball. So those are coming up very soon. They're getting very excited. And then each of our teams includes a basket in that as well, which has gear. So instead of just generic Kent State gear, you can get your favorite team's gear. So like if you like baseball, baseball will have their own basket. If you want to support gymnastics, gymnastics has a basket, even with a t-shirt signed by the entire team.
Tell me a little bit about some of the auction items right here. I know we have a San Diego Padres hat. There's a basket right behind you. So can you give everyone a little sneak peek?
Here we have an Eric Lauer signed hat. He was just put into our Kent State Varsity K Hall of Fame. We also have a jersey signed by him that will be going in as well, along with a Nick Saban football jersey that'll be signed. Antonio Gates. We have some Brown signed items too. So we got a lot of fun things if you're wanting stuff outside of Kent State athletics specifically too. We have a bunch of different, I actually got an email right before I came up here. There's a canoe trip that is going to be auctioned off, and then as well as a birthday party over at the Kent State Rec Center, a bunch of fun items going on.
I know you have this Under Armour basket behind me. Could you showcase that a little bit? And I know this is going to be something that is available at auction for those coming to the Golden Flash Bash. And what's inside here? Looks like it's a lot of fun.
So this is from our friends at Under Armour. They were generous enough to donate a Under Armour cooler, 2 Under Armour hats, sunglasses, and some Under Armour branded headphones. So thank you, Under Armour, for giving us this. But this is a special basket just from them for this. And there's a bunch of other goodies just like this that'll be that'll be silent auctioned off. And if you can't be at the auction, you can go to ksubid.givesmart.com and you can bid online, and we'll ship the items to you after the auction's all said and done.
How important is it, not only these type of events, specifically the Golden Flash Bash, but that Kent State Athletics is connecting with alumni and donors?
Yeah, we do a bunch of events like these all throughout the year. This is our big signature one. We kind of do a big one every quarter. So for our spring quarter, it is our Golden Flash Bash, which helps bring people together. Student athletes are there, coaches are there, a bunch of our donors, and then we get a bunch of our community sponsors involved as well. So it brings everyone together, supporting a good cause. All the proceeds go back to support all of our athletic programs. So all the funds are evenly distributed to all teams. So that goes to help support their budgets as well. So it's very important for all of the teams too.
Kate, I know you worked in minor league baseball with the El Paso Chihuahuas, came back to Ohio after going to Otterbein, playing softball there for a little bit, correct?
Yes,
so,
I did.
I did my research a little bit. So coming back to the state of Ohio, what have you enjoyed most about being in this position?
I think from coming as a student athlete, especially at the D3 level, I've always wanted to give back to other student athletes. And so being able to come back and to help support our student athletes, especially from this angle with helping raise money for them and then getting them incorporated in the community has been such a joy. At the D3 level, you don't really get those opportunities as well. But so being able to provide those opportunities for our student athletes has been such a joy, and especially switching from the professional level to the college level. You're seeing all different sides of where they could be in life.
What are some of the things you guys are trying to do to grow the base of people that are supporting Kent State? Because obviously, you know, there's always going to be key donors coming to these events like the Golden Flash Bash, but there's always room for more.
Always becoming a season seat holder always helps getting in the door, especially when you donate with us too. We have special experiences throughout the year that sometimes are only for our donors. So we have our hospitality areas, like at football, we have the Jim and Carolyn Phelan Lounge, and then for basketball, we have the Skull and McLean Lounge. So it gets you in those doors. You get special experiences with our coaches. And so there's always opportunities around the corner. We always love to plan special events to thank our donors for doing all the fun things, like our Coaches Caravan coming up this summer, where you can interact with all of our coaches.
Tell us the drinks we have here, and we're going to do a little taste test.
Yes,
as well.
of course. So we have 2 special bars this year. We have the Joy Family Bar, which will have a bunch of specialty drinks, one of which is our Blackberry Mint Julep. And this is a lemonade version. So this one has lemonade, vodka, and then mint syrup and blackberry syrup. So it's got a little blackberry taste, right in time for spring and that garden party theme. We'll also have a margarita bar this year, sponsored by the Camus family and Absolute Roofing. And they'll have some special margarita samples you can get, as well as there's going to be commemorative Kent State margarita glass with that.
Try this before we go.
Yes.
All right,
Cheers.
Associate Director for Athletic Philanthropy Services in the Golden Flash Club, Kate Lewis. Kate, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you.
I think you can do so much from traveling the world. So many people just stay in the box that we live in.
The study abroad program at Kent State made it clear what path I should be taking.
Experiencing the different classes to experiencing the art and the buildings and the culture. I'm just hoping to take back everything I've learned and be able to apply it into whatever I do in the future.
Kent State has basically helped to set up the vision for the career that I want to be able to go through.
Joined on Flash Talk by Kent State softball head coach Jessica O'Donnell. Coach, appreciate you joining me. A little bit of a tough weekend against Bowling Green, but a couple of close losses. What are some of those small things, Coach, you think you could do to turn some of those losses into wins in MAC play?
We're right there. You know, I think maybe that's one hit away from breaking it open, or making that one difficult defensive play, or, you know, just kind of being a little bit more strategic and sort of where our, you know, hitting spots from our pitching side of things. So I think we're really right there. Best part about this team is I don't believe we've reached our full capacity yet. And I think we're just continuing to learn and grow and play together. And just learn through everything that we're working through right now. So I feel like we're moving in the right direction, but I do believe we're just one small play away from being where we want to be.
Carly Penner had 7 hits in the 3 games at Bowling Green this past weekend. She's also been pitching in the circle a little bit this year. She hadn't pitched as much in the past. So tell me about her attitude, her work ethic.
She's such a great leader. She is one of the hardest workers that I've ever coached, always finding time to get extra reps in, whether that is pitching or hitting. And she's sort of always coming to us with, hey, I've been working through this, or here's what I see their pitching is doing, and here's what I'm working through in the box, and here's my mindset. And she actually just brought a book to our coaching staff later last week about the mental game of tennis, if you will. And I thought that it was really interesting, and I just ordered it on Amazon. So I'm excited to dive into that and sort of kind of her mindset. And I think the mindset is really what helps us in our game of failure, is that being able to stay positive when you are failing sometimes. And like they say, you know, 3 3 for 10, you're exceptional, great hitter. And so she just has a really good mindset on all facets of the game right now. And so I love her attitude and her work ethic, and I think that's going to take her a long way.
Delaney Robeson, she leads your team in batting average right now, hitting .386, really having a fantastic senior season. What do you think has led most to her success?
The fact that every game matters for her, and she knows that the end is coming, and she's not going to let a day or a game or a practice get away from her. She's going to take advantage of every opportunity that she has, get those reps in, and work hard and be very in it in every situation she can be. So she just had a really positive attitude and really intentional about everything that she's doing, and knows that, hey, if we're going to win and be successful, it's going to be a team. And so I'm just going to do my part to help make the team as best as possible. And not only doing that part of it, she stepped up to play shortstop, which is something that she hasn't done in her career here, and hasn't played since she's been 14 years old. So really pleased with just her ability to be such a great team player.
Katie Jo Moore, she recently surpassed the 100 hit mark, so that's obviously a lot of success at the collegiate softball level. What does that kind of milestone mean?
She is so positive and optimistic, great leader. She says all the right things, especially when we come together as a team to meet in between innings. Very much a student of the game, and a great teacher to our younger players as well, as just kind of understanding how the game works and when's a good opportunity. There was a great play that she had at UNC where bases were loaded. Our runner on third base walked home, and she was on second at the time, and she bypassed me at third and went and scored because the pitcher wasn't paying attention. To me, that's such a knowledgeable player that can recognize situations and take advantage of that. So just been really pleased with her ability to know and understand the game and capitalize when she needs to do so, and she's been really good for us. And there's been good times where she might have an off day on one day, and then the next day she comes back and then she's on fire, So she's really good about switching her mindset and her thought process and her ability to adjust.
The 50th anniversary for Kent State softball is coming up in just a couple weekends. April 4th through April 6th, you guys face Ball State. So what does that mean to you?
I love the fact that we're going to have so many alumni and former coaches of the softball program come back to support us in such a really big series. Ball State, we actually took 3 from last year, so they're going to come out guns a-blazing on us. And I just think what a great opportunity to have previous and past players and coaches come back and show their support for where we are as a softball program and just the history. There's so much history and success with Kent State softball, and it'll be really nice to have that back here and to have everyone just celebrating where we are and where we've grown. And we've got the Divine Diamond, which is new, that they haven't seen, most of them haven't seen, and so just being able to play on that every single day, what a grateful mindset that we have to be able to have that field that we have, thanks to the work that was put in for the alumni before us.
Jessica O'Donnell, Coach, we appreciate the time.
Thanks so much.
Coming up this week in Kent State Athletics, brought to you by KSU Ticks. Men's basketball plays at Loyola Chicago at 7 p.m. tonight on ESPN2 in the NIT quarterfinals. On Thursday through Sunday, Kent State men's and women's track and field takes part in both the Texas and Texas State Invitationals. Friday through Sunday, baseball has a 3-game home set at Schoonover Stadium, taking on Toledo. Finally, on Tuesday, Kent State softball travels for a doubleheader at Ohio, and Kent State baseball travels to Erie, PA to take on Mercyhurst at 2 p.m. As always, you can buy your tickets at ksutix.com. If you want more information on your favorite Flashes teams, visit kentstatesports.com or visit the Go Flashes app. We'll be back with more right after this.
For every just one more mile to your next ace on the court, when you have a sports-related injury, Cleveland Clinic is here. For our Cavaliers, our Guardians, and athletes at all levels, our sports medicine team helps keep you in the game. With expert diagnosis, personalized sports therapies, and game-changing surgeries. For every injury, for every athlete, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
Today, the world could use a little more understanding. Understanding nurtured by shared values. We come together at Kent State. Different dreams, different viewpoints, united by purpose. Preparing to make a difference in our divided world. Wherever you are in your life's journey, come learn with us. Begin at Kent State.
Joined on Flash Talk by Kent State Baseball Associate Head Coach and Pitching Coach Mike Birkbeck. Coach, you're known as a legend here at Kent State. I'll start with that. Coming off a nice series win this past weekend against Bowling Green, what makes you excited about this development of this year's pitching staff?
We're very talented, and we're very deep, and we're starting to get some guys healthy. Yeah. So that's always exciting. And, it's been a work in progress because, again, like I said, we've got some guys that are working back from injuries that are now starting to step up. I'm speaking of Rocco Bernardina, Jordan Kalenda. So they're going to just further the depth that we do have, and we're really looking forward to moving this along.
Fridays, game one, usually it has been Gavin Jones. I know he's progressed, a high-velocity guy. So what have you seen from him so far this season?
He's got arm talent. He's got arm strength. And the one thing that we've really been focusing on with Gavin is the secondary pitches, trying to refine the spin a little bit. And he's developed a pretty good slider at this point, and it's only going to get better. He also has a developing changeup, which will only add to the arsenal. And he's got high strike throw potential. With the weather sometimes a little windy, a little cold, touch and feel. Having done it myself many years, it can take a little bit of time to get reacclimated to being back in the north. But we've been thrilled with the way he's produced.
You guys recently moved Sunday to Saturday. Jacob Bean, he's in his sophomore year. What are you excited about most with him?
Well, what we really like about Jacob is he gets better every time he goes out there. And he's extremely talented. Again, he's a high-velocity guy. Developed a really good slider, and at times it's a major league grade slider. Plus, he's worked really hard on a changeup, and that's paying dividends too. And he's got a motor, and he loves to compete. He's high energy, and he's got a really bright future as long as the good Lord keeps him healthy. But we've been thrilled with where Jacob is as compared to a year ago.
Nick Guidas a few times, Eric Shalis, Kieran Kahi. So what are you trying to work through to try and figure out, maybe solidify a third starter, or is that just going to kind of be by committee?
Well, it might be by committee, and sometimes it comes down to matchups too. I mean, we're going to be playing this coming weekend in MAC action. It's going to be the University of Toledo, and they have a slew. I think it's seven left-handed hitters in their lineup. So that will be interesting to see how we navigate that. But really on Sundays, we like to get a guy out there that's going to compete. He's going to throw strikes and keep us in the game because we like to feel that our depth will take over on Sundays. And I think you saw that a little bit yesterday with, we ran Chally out there early. He pitched fine for, 2 2/3. Then you're able to bring in a healthy Rocco Bernardina for darn near 4 innings to eat up the middle ground. And then you're always going to have your stalwarts at the back end with Benny Roebuck, Caden Leonard, Peyton Carrico, among others.
Who is the most unique pitcher you have dealt with during your time?
Because he's so diversified, but he was also, unbelievable on the mound for us was Dirk Hayhurst. Okay. He's a New York Times bestseller most recently, and highly articulate, really hard worker, strike throwing machine, not eccentric in a bad way, but he would speak his mind, and he was a very bright young man. Loved being around him, and he's done great things since he's left here. He was on TV, I think, at times with the Blue Jays, did some postseason Major League Baseball stuff. So he's very diversified. He kept everything in perspective, and just thrilled that he's an alum.
It has changed a lot, but what has stood out most to you as a big pitching mind of the game?
Well, there's so much more technology now. I mean, with TrackMan, YakkerTech, Rapsodo, there's a lot more way to identify what the ball is actually doing in flight. It also affects the strike zone a little bit because they do have that technology. There's a big emphasis on velocity right now. And, the thing about that is there's still a need for pitchability. You got to be able to hit with multiple pitches in the strike zone. It's still work fast, throw strikes, change speeds. At the end of the day, you compete. And that's one thing I'm really proud of this group of guys right now. Been up and down at times, but they're fearless in the strike zone. They're going to strike. They're going to throw strikes. And they're going to compete like madmen out there.
Coach, we appreciate the time. We look forward to seeing your guys slinging it throughout the rest of the regular season. That'll do it for this week's episode of Flash Talk. Make sure you tune in next week where we hope to be talking more about Kent State men's basketball's NIT run, and we preview the rest of the spring sports season. For our entire GFTV studio, Ethan Lachinsky, Justin Spots, I'm Dane Richardson saying good night and go Flashes.
As you know, Kent State Athletics, our basketball team has historically been a huge part of our athletic department. We have a winning tradition. We always bring a great game. But in today's day and age, the basketball game itself isn't going to entice the average fan. We really need to come over the top. We need to do these exciting things like they do in professional sports. And without sponsors or partners like Ken Ganley, we wouldn't be able to afford to do like tonight, the esports night with the Ken Ganley game room. Also being able to do the $10,000 putt at halftime that they're supporting. So those types of things help us advertise and get out into the community and maybe reach people who are not just the average basketball fan. They also help us out off the court. So many of our faculty, our staff, and our coaching know that they can go to Ken Ganley Chevrolet, get themselves a vehicle in a short amount of time without having to shop everywhere. They're so important to us on so many levels that we're just so grateful that they're a part of our family, and I don't know how we would live without them.